And this is the tactic that a lot of the people who are making tens of millions of dollars on social media, this is what they want me to make video for them for. So today, the title is called The Secret Weapon. Now, why do we call it The Secret Weapon? The thing is that marketers have always loved video. It's engaging, it's motion, you can see people's reactions. There's just a certain element about it, and it's the next best thing to live interacting with people. And sometimes it's better in some ways because you can edit things and stuff like that. But besides the actual emotional impact that video has and the fun and the movement and all that, there's another specific quality that video has that marketers absolutely love. And this is a technical quality that was not able to get tapped into until social media happened. The reason I didn't talk about this before is because a lot of times what happens is if I bring the tactics in up front, and you've probably seen this happen, people have enough how-tos, people have enough workbooks, enough course material, and if everybody was going to be able to solve all their problems with more information, then we wouldn't have any problems. But the thing is that the information is only as good as the person who is applying it, and people only generally apply things when they have a good reason to apply it. I'm gonna go into a bit of technical stuff today, and if this is kind of over your head, no big deal. You don't have to use this right away, but there's gonna be some of you who are gonna get it and who are gonna wanna implement this right away, because I'm telling you what, once you understand the quality that video has that other things don't have and why it's such a huge advantage, you're gonna be doing things completely differently. You're gonna be thinking differently, you're gonna be producing differently, and most importantly, you're gonna be attracting the right people differently using these techniques. I'm gonna switch over here to my laptop. Now, today is a bit of tactical mode. I might reference things that you might not understand, but everything I'll reference is gonna have been covered in one of the units, or guides they're now called, earlier. So just go back in the guides in order. This is number 7. That means there's 6 that already came before this. All those, and it's gonna help you understand what's going on here. One thing I learned about video, there's a guy, this British dude. He's a British filmmaker. His name is Philip Bloom. I watched a lot of his videos on YouTube because he just knows a whole lot about equipment, and he's made some really epic documentaries for National Geographic and stuff. And he taught me this one thing, and this is kind of impromptu. I wasn't planning this, but he said this. He says that when you're filming something and you're in a noisy area and you can't help the noise, and something happens, let's say a car horn happens, or a seagull, or a crying baby. If some noise is unavoidable, the worst thing you could do is ignore it. Because let's say that I'm talking right here and all of a sudden you hear a crying baby or a cat meowing, and I try to pretend it's not there. It's kind of like that awkward journalist. You remember when he was trying to work from home and then his kids came in the door and the wife came in to try to scoop them out and everything, and it was just so awkward and the guy just looked like a total idiot. That's what happens when you try to ignore stuff. But when something goes wrong, the first thing you want to do is address it. So if my cat came in, by the way, started meowing and said, "Oh, by the way, there's my cat. Come say hi to Cece." And Cece is the name of the cat in our household. Now, what happens is when you hear the noise, but you don't see the source, or you could sense I'm just trying to ignore it, then what happens is the brain becomes fixated on what is that noise? What's going on there? And you're completely distracted from what I'm trying to deliver. The same thing goes if, let's say you're on a beach, right? And there's seagulls. And you're trying to deliver this thing and there's all this noise. You just say, "Hey, check out these seagulls, guys." Address the distraction, and then people stick with you for longer. So that's a hot tip for you guys. I was not planning on teaching that. So let's jump into the strategy, the secret weapon. Now, there's a few different main types of media, and I think the oldest one is gonna be text, right? So some people call this copy. Copy or text is basically just the art of copywriting. Being able to arrange letters and words in such a way to emotionally engage people and to get them to want to go in the direction that you want them to do. If you want them to buy something, you want them to take a chance on themselves, whatever it is you want to motivate people to do, you got wordsmiths. They're called copywriters these days. And you can do all kinds of stuff. Email, text posts, Twitter is probably a huge platform for that. And this is super powerful. There's no mistake about that. Then you've got pictures. Pictures can be photos, it can be drawings, it can be just big posters with text even. And these were super, super popular with billboards. And then when it came to social media, the first type of ads that were these wide banner ads that were on all the different blogs, and people would pay a lot of money to put these banner ads up. And now banner ads are a little bit different, but it's the same idea. You put up an image, the image looks interesting, and people click it and they get taken to another website or an offer or something. So there's text, there's pictures, and the third major type is video. Now all three are effective. And depending on the level of skill, the person making the video, the person doing the graphics or the person doing the text, that's going to have varying degrees of success. Now, some people might argue email is way more powerful than video, and I'm not here to argue that point. They're all super valid, but video has one quality that the others don't. And this is something that Facebook leverages really, really well. Let's put it this way. If you make a text post, you just write up some copy that says, you know, do you want to change your life? And here are 3 ways. If somebody's just scrolling through their feed, right? Because remember, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, those are scrolling sites. And scrolling sites are generally distraction sites. People go there because they got nothing better to do. They're just distracted. They got to fill up some time. Now, if you scroll through some text and you read it and then you keep going, you're going to have absorbed that information that was in the text. But the person who wrote it is not going to know how much you read. They have no way to tell if you read 2 lines, 3 lines, 10 lines, or 100 lines to the bottom. They can't tell because they don't know how fast your eyes are moving. Imagine if somebody read just the headline and another person read all 100 lines of your post, and you want to do something called retargeting is the secret weapon. But it's very different when you're doing video. It's the ability to, based on people's previous behavior, show people paid ads. When it comes to text, if someone reads the entire paragraph or the entire book, and you're gonna spend, let's say, $20 to show your conversion ad. Let's say the first ad is something like, and then the next one, you're gonna sell them a cookbook for low calorie, low carb snacks. And then you're trying to sell a cookbook. Okay, this is kind of a clumsy example here. But the first one, you're giving some information, you're establishing authority, getting people to know, like, and trust you. Later on, once they know, like, and trust you, then you might want to say, hey, I've got this book and it's really great. It's got these recipes and you're gonna wanna buy it. Would you spend more money to show the offer to buy the book to somebody who's read an entire volume versus somebody who's only read just the headline? Like, how much time they spent there is gonna affect how marinated they are in your philosophy and what you teach. Out of these 3 things, the only one that you can accurately track how engaged people are is video. Because when it comes to retargeting, you can target video, and this is the secret weapon. I'm gonna give it away right here. You can target video views based on how much they watched. If somebody watched just 10% of the video, that's, you know, gonna be pretty cool audience, right? Not hot, not warm. They could have just auto-played it and they just hung around long enough to see just the first few seconds, the hook. And the hook wasn't good enough to get them, or they weren't the right people to continue watching. Some people are gonna watch till, let's say, 25%, right? Again, a little bit warmer. And then we get to 50%, right? And we get all the way to 95%. Now, these are all different degrees of how interested people are in what you have to say. And what if there was a way that you can make an ad to sell something or to get people to take action, only show to people who watched 95% of your organic video earlier? Now, this is extremely powerful because I've made a lot of videos, and very few people, only my super fans, are gonna watch all the way to the end. Most people casually watch, and the moment I blink or pause for more than 1 second, they're gone. It's true. I look at the numbers, I look at the drop-off rates, people leave. But the people who really value what I have to say and who are soaking it up and watching to the end tells me that what I'm saying is interesting to you, that it's useful to you, and that if I were to make an offer, you're the most likely people to have bought. What if, on top of all of the demographics that are already there, gender, age, country, or location, common interests, and on top of all of the regular things that you target people with, what if you can say, I want these people to tick all these marks, right? They have to be female, and they gotta be between 40 and 50, and they gotta be in Canada, and they got to be fans of Bon Jovi. And they have to have watched a video that I made in the past all the way to 95%. This is gonna narrow your audience very, very, very small. And if you're in the business of personal branding. That means if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if you're a therapist, if you are a professional and you hope to make a bigger impact on people who need your help, you hope that every single time that you market something, the little actions you take will make a big difference, then you're gonna wanna spend your money showing it to the right people, the people who already know, like, and trust you. Now, of course, if you could start at 95%, maybe you're gonna get an audience of 1,000 people. It can be very small. And then you can dial it back. You say, okay, so we'll run this for a week, and only gonna show the video, my ad, to the people who tick off all these marks. Once you exhaust that, you can push it back. You say, okay, now that we've, kind of saturated that, let's show it to all the people who watched up to 75%. And then you keep dialing this back. And this ability to target your ads at people because you know how interested they are, because they voluntarily decided to watch your videos, tells you a lot about them. And this is the tactic that a lot of the people who are making tens of millions of dollars on social media, this is what they want me to make video for them for. This is what their tactic is. And I'm just blowing this wide open because if you're wondering, like, all these courses and stuff, yes, super, super important, right? But what they're really doing, the secret weapon is people ask, like, why do you make so much free video? It's because they're building their retargeting audience. If you need a logical reason to make more video, it's because every time you make video, you got to think one step ahead. Right now, maybe the video is just to get people to like and trust you. But know this that in the future, when you're going to have a little bit of money to spend on ads, let's say, as little as $1 a day. $1 a day is pretty little, but you can start with $1 a day, $7 a week, right? But when you have some money to spend on ads, so you can get some predictable traffic, so that you can say, hey, Facebook, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, here is $10, get me 2 leads. There's gonna come a point where you can get this transaction point, and you're gonna know what your numbers are. And if you want to get those leads for cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and also once those leads come in, you want them to already be primed and ready and hot and wanting to buy from you, then you're gonna wanna put out as much video as possible and figure out, most importantly, using the tactics I show you, like Hilda and Will Smith method, use those things to get more people, more eyeballs on your video, because what you're doing is you're building your retargeting audience. What you want to do is think about how can you get more eyeballs on your video, not necessarily for your ego, not necessarily to make a sale there, but so that you can retarget those people. And that is the game. You know how they say, if you're doing email marketing, then you should be able to make at least $1 per email address per month. And if you're not, then you're doing something wrong. Having a retargeting list is a lot like having an email list. You can show your ads only to people who watch your video. And the thing is, they never opted in intentionally. They just happen to watch your video. So if you know somebody who get value out of these insights and be able to actually be more effective as a professional, whether they're a doctor, a coach, a consultant, a professional in any way, who's that person? Invite them into this group. Again, you guys have seen this, right? What do I do in here? I just give as much freaking value as I possibly can every single time. And you also have people in your life who you know are gonna appreciate this value. Who's that person? Do them a favor, bring them into the group, invite them in so we can all kind of party together. That's it, guys. See you next time.